Welcome to Lazy Conversations, your weekly dose of business insight where we dive into the real world challenges and triumphs of business executives. Join us as we chat with industry leaders, share our own experiences, and offer some unconventional advice. And today's guest is Emad Al-Ablani. Thank you, Emad, for being here.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to have you in. And I hope that provide you the required value of this podcast and hopefully fulfill your questions to the maximum.
And
So,
how was your day so far? Let's bring some
yeah,
nice.
so far, every day is a good day for me, since as long as you wake up in a good health
Yeah.
and you are capable to come to office, then it's a great day. I'm sure that there will be a lot of challenges ahead of you, and those challenges, the good in facing such challenges, it's not only about you,
Yeah.
it's about the team, and you need to trust your teammate capabilities and leverage their strength and collective actually effort in order to face those challenges and then achieve whatever required to be achieved for the NBK group, and then definitely celebrate with them.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll start with our first question. Emad, what's your leadership philosophy?
Well, leadership philosophy, it's like a compass that anyone needs that service. Any activity without any leadership, let's say, dimension, it will be a chaos situation. It will be, let's say, less productive, and it might lead to more frustration and burnout. So leadership, I think it's very essential to any teamwork, any, let's say, corporate group. And it requires a lot with that leadership. And we may talk about it later on from, let's say, vision perspective, strategy perspective,
Absolutely.
even the implementation itself, because strategy without the right way of implementation, then it would be only an ink on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, and to touch on what you have mentioned, how would you be able to implement your leadership philosophy in your day-to-day work?
Yeah. So I think the philosophy itself for any let's say important thing within the organization requires one essential key success factor, which is communication.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have a good leadership without a strong communication skills or ability, it would be ineffective a bit. And sometimes that leadership might signal the wrongful, let's say, signs or direction. So without a proper communication, leadership might also distract the business with extra effort that it is not needed for the time being, or let's say burnout for the team members and so on. So my understanding for leadership, it requires a person that can communicate positively, effectively. And when I say communicate, it's not only one-way communication, it's two-way communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as you need to communicate, you need to listen, analyze, and give feedback and so on. So it's a continuous effort from the leadership side toward the team. And always listen, because by listening to others will definitely allow any leader to readjust the course and put the full threat.
That's awesome. It's like you were guessing my next question.
Uh,
You've touched on listening and communication between team members and leaders. How do you think emotional intelligence plays a role in the communication between a team and the management of an organization and the staff?
Yeah, emotional intelligence it's an extreme required skills. It's not only for the leaders, even for the team members, because we need to read each other's.
Yes.
We need to know each other's not only from a physical interaction point of view, because there is a unspoken language
Yes.
during the dynamics of the teams and the interaction between the leaders and the teams, and you need to be aware of that. And at the end, we are humans, and humans are, let's say, might fall sometimes under different source of tensions, whether it's within the work or outside the work. And the leader or even the team members, if they don't have a high emotional intelligence capabilities, then it will be harming the relation on the long run.
Yeah.
Because at the end, I need my boss to care about my not only professional life, even the other life as well. And I'm sure that being a part of the team, I have a strong, let's say, attribute that I can participate within the collective team effort. But sometimes maybe there is a lot of or some source that drag me down a bit, that doesn't allow me at a certain stage not to perform as I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So without having a leader that understand me at that time, and maybe he or she, let's say, take the extra mile and dig deep why I'm a bit down comparing with other days, then that will in a way or another will broken the relation later on. Having said that, being a leader and sitting in that seat, it requires a lot of, let's say, or it needs you that to be alerted again for the unspoken language or communication, and that will tell you a lot. And because at the end, the people are capabilities, and human respond to something that they drive them, or respond to a motivational action, whether it's by word or a tap on the back. So you need to be very careful about that aspect within your team. And
Yes.
without being fully alerted, definitely the leader will miss a lot of details during the day.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that leaders should be excessively entering the maybe some zones that the team doesn't want you to be in, but at least be aware of that and give some excuses. And the smart employees or the teammate will understand that definitely without saying it even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious to see if you had, if you're comfortable, like sharing an example of where there was like, a conflict or a difficult situation, and the active listening and the understanding of the team members or the other side has helped you resolve this situation.
Yeah, I think, and I'm true believer that sometimes you see the situation in front of you, and there is a possibility that you directly interact with it. But if you have enough, let's say, experience, you would know that there is another way or there is another better way to touch base with that situation. So you might need to move something very far away
Yeah.
from that situation, and it will indirectly impact
Yes. Yes.
or create the impact that you would like, rather than you directly or physically attend such situation. And as an example, sometimes يعني again the team or the leaders that really works with me have their own challenges.
Yes.
And if at that time, if I've decided to act accordingly directly with them, I think there might be some, let's say, casualties.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And usually, a seasoned leader should avoid any casualties.
Yeah.
You should not only calculate the success. You should also calculate the casualties and the risk that you might be in any situation. And so at that يعني specific case, I've brought in someone that I really trust within the team at the same level, in the team and at the same level. And I told him يعني openly, I think that I cannot solve this problem or issue without risk, high risk. And I want you to help me in solving this indirectly. So we've agreed on let's say, on certain steps. And then I left or trusted that third party, which is within the leadership team, to go and tackle that person directly. And the issue then solved, alhamdulillah. And the guy or the person came in and he was aware about his situation and the limits at that time did not allow him or even allow me as well to interact with him. And he felt sorry, but I told him, and since we are grown up and you've admit that there was a situation within you, so let me tell you something, because someday you will be in my seat.
Yeah.
The guy who came to you was sent by me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And يعني he was a bit surprised. And then he asked me why you did not يعني contacted me directly. I said, I think it was for the benefit of both sides, myself and yours.
Yeah.
At that time, I don't think that you were able or capable to receive any criticism, although it is a constructive one, but you definitely will be on a negative vibes and you will receive it differently. And to tell you the truth, I was not sure about myself, that if I see some negativity from you, what is my reaction going to be?
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Now you see that the world is changing, especially after COVID happened, and a lot of workplaces have shifted virtually, and some of them have moved to a type of a hybrid work environment where sometimes you would work in the office and others work from home. Emad, I want to know, or I want you to tell us, what do you think the future trends of HR are in Kuwait? What are your predictions? And how can an executive or a leader or yourself prepare your organization to meet or be on par with these upcoming HR trends?
See, and I'm going to be very specific about Kuwait.
Yes.
Because Kuwait is very different environment, I think, even from GCC surroundings.
Yes.
Remote working, it's good, but definitely cannot provide you with the maximum output that is expected in a corporate environment within Kuwait, and specifically in banking industry. The banking industry in Kuwait specifically requires a huge interaction, whether it's with the external customers, individuals or companies or other corporates, or even within the internal customers. It's very proved to us that meeting over, let's say, Teams or Zoom, it's productive, but not that much productive. The human interaction add huge value to the discussion. And people, while they are discussing, يعني, keep connected to each other in presence.
Yeah.
While that element would be missed in the virtual world. So Kuwait, I think, would continue doing, let's say, the majority will do on-prem or on the physical location working hours. Maybe some of the industries can do it from home. However, I think working remotely would give more flexibility for special cases, even within the banking. If that does, يعني, or the situation requires that.
Yes.
So, in a nutshell, I think every organization should have a policy for that, to organize that, but not to make it as let's say, the common practice.
Yes.
You should have a policy that allow maybe a woman taking care of her kids, newborn kids, to work remotely for, let's say, 6 months, maybe a year, based on her, let's say, situation. And you don't lose people because of such limitation. So I've seen that specifically women in private sector and in a highly demanding environment like banking. When she يعني, deliver a baby, she go through a lot of turbulence because of يعني, she's new in the motherhood, let's say. She wants to put more attention and effort for the newborn baby, while also she's in need for a job.
Yes.
But at the end, if there is no policies or procedures that allow to balance that situation, then definitely the woman will choose home.
Yeah.
Choosing home will lead to a resignation. And that resignation, definitely, it's a loss for us from talent perspective. And what does it take to keep that talent?
Yes, absolutely.
To change your mindset, to build up a policy, to allow you handling or dealing with such situation in a, let's say, a legal way, well-organized way. And you can put a lot of things in. The option is, you cannot count the options there. So you decide about the options.
Yeah.
And you create that flexibility. But in general, to me, I don't think that working remotely will be the natural thing in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Maybe it will fit for a business that require, let's say, less cost or operational cost for the startups. Yes, definitely, the remote working would be an excellent option for them.
Yeah.
But for big corporates, it would be very difficult.
And do you see any future trends coming in the Kuwait business environment with regards to HR?
Yeah, there will be moving toward the digital world. And nowadays, digital, maybe it's only touch base with the services that we offer directly to customers. But here in NBK, we are trying our best to even create that digital experience, which is should be an excellent experience, even for the job seekers. They don't need to come here, and we conduct an initial interview just to touch base with them through Zoom or Teams and so on, and then they have to come physically.
So moving on to the next question, tell us about a challenge that you've faced throughout your career that has, that you've been through and has changed your perspective on your work and your life.
I think the biggest challenge that I have faced after graduation is moving from government sector to private sector.
Well, that is a hot topic now. Yeah, I'm sure it's very relevant, actually.
Yeah, I used to work for Kuwait University, and I did excellent 12 years there. Actually, I was doing some HR issues, but in a different way. At that time, I was a responsible person for sending Kuwaiti scholarship to obtain their master degree and PhD.
Yeah.
So there is some relevance if you get it from following up the students and so on. But it was the first experience to me, professional experience. And although that Kuwait University was a prestigious place to learn, but when I moved to NBK, it was a kind of shock. First of all, at that time, which is, I have the same, not perspective, that maybe the private sector is not safe or not stable.
Yeah.
There
That's
might,
actually a question a lot of people
there might
ask.
be, let's say, some threats would lead to an opportunity to lose your post or your job. So, and again, I'm moving from an environment has its own policies and procedures to a new one, which is NBK, extremely organized, well established from procedures and policies, and you need to be aware of them. Because here in private sector and specifically in NBK, everything is policy and procedure. There is a huge flexibility, but again, there is a guidelines that you need to abide, you need to respect, and there is let's say, a way of escalation things. If the policy doesn't serve you, then you go to the next level and so in order to obtain, because we are extremely dynamic. Yes, we are well organized from policy and procedure, but we are not stagnant.
Yeah.
We are extremely dynamic, and if things doesn't serve by the policy, then you can escalate and go obtain the right approval from the right authority. So changing that mindset from that environment to this environment was one of the biggest challenges, especially at that time I was newly married. And in order to put more effort, it led to that I spend more hours in office. Sometimes I left office around 11 o'clock at night. So I came specifically in winter, still dark, and go dark. To tell you the truth, passing that phase was extremely difficult to me, and my wife really stood to me, and I'm very grateful for her. And then, I've tried to start to be more familiar with the culture here, with the requirement, but that comes with definitely an effort. It requires a huge effort to read, be aware. So I reach a situation to having extra working hours in the office nearly to become a habit. So this is the second challenge, how to break that habit. Because it starts to become normal. I stay till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, but again, yes, I have the supportive surrounding, but I should not excessively misuse it. So I've tried my best to break that habit and tell myself, why shouldn't I leave in 4 o'clock every day? Because the working hours at that time finish on I think 2:30 or 3. So I put target for myself, and even if I'm not done with my work, I leave it on the desk. I leave. So I've tried to crunch that nearly formulated habit and become the normal person. But it's not easy. You would feel pain. Sometimes you would feel stress when you come back again tomorrow. You would feel that stress, and that stress continue with you. And with time, you start to acquire more skills, and I'm really grateful for NBK for a reason, that they do believe in training and development. So I've been through a lot of development programs that allow me to acquire skills, teach me how to handle stress, how to handle difficult tasks, how to handle multiple tasks, how to go beyond the expected results. I'm grateful for NBK is because NBK believes in their people. And I still remember in the old building next to Mbarkiya, I was in my office, and then I received a call from our group CEO, and he said to me, Emad, I'm going to send you to obtain your executive MBA. It was extremely surprised to me. I did not expect, sorry. And I accepted immediately without even discuss it with my closest circle, which is my wife. And when I came back to lunch, I still remember, I said to her, well, this is what happens to me. And she said, what did you say? I accepted immediately. And she's always trying to push me to obtain more qualification. So this is one of the things that really the environment helps you to evolve and become a better person. And again, if I go back just for maybe a word that I have mentioned, that I have a suspicion that the private sector is not stable. Now I can tell you with huge confidence that private sector is stable, NBK extremely stable, subject that you perform.
Okay, so we're moving on to the last segment of our interview, Emad. If there's one thing, only one thing that you can change about the role of HR, what would it be?
Well, always there is opportunity to become better. This is a life fact.
Yeah.
And to answer a question, I think MBK did not, let's say, hide any resource not to allow MBK to become better. And we are now, we are not a normal HR in MBK. We are a real strategic business partner for the executive management and for the business groups. So we work with them on strategic basis. Most of my strategy as a group human resources serve the business strategies, whether it's from talent acquiring or talent development or talent management or even rewards and benefits. So I think the mindset of the current executive management allow HR to become like an octopus. We have arms everywhere. And to answer your question, I think we've already have it. That the transformation from being a normal HR or passive HR, let's say, to proactive HR, strategic business partner, it's happened already in MBK. Is there anything in the future? Definitely. How that would be? By become more reachable to our employees without a need that they come to us. And this is where we are going to. There is plenty of automation that we are introducing for HR services. And even from consulting point of view, because we consider ourselves as a consultant for our employees, we are trying our best to be reachable for them, whether it's through chatbots or AI later on, and things in that direction going. Yes. I think.
Now, so we've come to the end of our podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in to the podcast, and I want to thank Emad for being our guest.
Always pleasure. Like I said, I've really enjoyed the discussion, and it's one of the things that I really push myself even in the future. I know that I've learned it, have it in the hard way, and I would like to make it as much as easy for others to benefit or learn from what me and other leaders been through in a easiest way.